The dust in Grandpa's attic danced in the single beam of light from my phone. It smelled of old paper, cedar, and forgotten time. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, just something, a connection to the man I barely knew. Tucked under a canvas sheet was a heavy wooden box. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, was his old shortwave radio. It was a beautiful beast of a machine, all polished wood and brass dials that clicked with satisfying weight. I lugged it downstairs, plugged it in, and after a moment of hesitation, a warm amber light glowed from within. The air filled with a low, expectant hum. I spent the first hour just turning the main dial, surfing through the static, the ghostly whispers of foreign languages, and the crackle of distant storms. It was hypnotic. Just as I was about to give up and go to bed, I stumbled upon it. It wasn't music, it wasn't a voice. It was a pattern, a slow, deliberate pulse. Beep, dot, boop, boop, dot, dot, beep. It was faint, almost lost in the cosmic noise, but it was undeniably there, and it was repeating. A 3-beat pattern, over and over. A cosmic heartbeat. My own heart started to pound in my chest. This wasn't a natural phenomenon. I've listened to recordings of pulsars and magnetars. They have a rhythm, sure, but this was different. This felt dot, dot, dot structured, intelligent. I grabbed my phone and started recording. For the next 3 nights, my life revolved around that radio. I barely slept. I ate my meals next to it, my ears tuned to that strange celestial rhythm. I bought notebooks, filling them with endless strings of dots and dashes, trying to find a larger pattern, a key. Was it binary? Morse code? Something else entirely? My friends started to worry. They'd call, and I'd let it go to voicemail. My boss sent emails I never opened. The world outside my little apartment, with its glowing radio, began to feel distant and unimportant. The signal was everything. I started charting its appearances. I cross-referenced it with star charts. There was no obvious correlation with any known satellite, planet, or deep space object. It was coming from a seemingly empty patch of sky in the Ophiuchus constellation, a dark, quiet corner of the universe. One night, exhausted and fueled by too much coffee, I was staring at a page of transcribed pulses when my eyes blurred. The dots and dashes swam together. Frustrated, I pushed the notebook away. But then I saw it. It wasn't about the individual beeps. It was the space between them, the silence. The duration of the pauses was also a pattern, a much more complex one. My hands trembled as I started a new page, this time mapping the silences. Short pause, long pause, long, short, short. It was a secondary layer of information hidden in plain sight. It took me another week to crack it. The pulses were a carrier wave, a simple beat to draw you in. It was a form of 3-dimensional mathematics, something far beyond my own understanding. I had to download university-level astrophysics papers just to begin to grasp the concepts it was describing. It was a map, not of stars, but of space-time itself. It described gravitational anomalies, points where the fabric of the universe was different, thinner, maybe. And at the center of this map, one point pulsed brighter than all the others. A destination. My obsession deepened. I felt like I was on the verge of the greatest discovery in human history, all happening in my cramped living room. The signal was my secret, my purpose. But the loneliness was crushing. Who could I tell? Who would believe me? They'd think I was crazy. They'd take the radio, take the discovery, and I'd be a footnote. No, this was mine. My grandfather had left me the key, and I had found the lock. Then, last night, something changed. The signal, which had been as constant as the North Star for weeks, suddenly altered. The familiar beep, boop, boop, dot, 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 beep stopped. I frantically turned the dials, thinking I'd lost the frequency. But I hadn't. The channel was just dot, dot, dad. I sat there for hours, staring at the silent radio, a hollow feeling growing in my stomach. Had I imagined it all? Was it just some elaborate prank, a dying satellite's last gasp? Just as despair began to set in, a new sound crackled to life. It was different, not a pulse, not a rhythm. It was a chaotic series of clicks and whirs, faster and more complex. It sounded dot, dot, closer, much closer. Then, through the static, another sound emerged. Faint, but unmistakable. It was a voice, not human. It was a series of guttural clicks and a low, resonant hum, but the intonation was clear. It sounded like it was asking a question. My phone, which had been sitting on the table, buzzed. I glanced at it. An unknown number. I ignored it. The strange voice from the radio continued, its questioning tone becoming more insistent. My phone buzzed again, and again, a rapid series of texts from the same unknown number. My hands shook as I picked it up. The messages were just a string of numbers, zeros and ones. It was binary. As the alien voice from the radio asked its question one more time, I finished translating the first line of the text. My breath caught in my throat. The message on my phone from a number I had never seen was a perfect, character-for-character transcription of the words I had just written in my notebook an hour ago. It was my own translation of the star map, and then a new message came through. It wasn't code, it was a single, terrifying sentence in perfect English. We see you. Did you get our message? Now it's your turn to reply. Just then, all the lights in my apartment went out, and from the street below, I heard a slow, deliberate knock on my door. Beep, dot, dot. Boop, boop, dot, dot, beep.